Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. Today, we are going into our YouTube live stream to talk about the latest changes and policy updates from the IRCC and Canadian immigration. We're talking LMIAs, Alberta PNP not being that easy anymore, Saskatchewan pulls the plug on all its entrepreneur applicants who don't have language requirements. And exciting news from Canadian immigration that just proves one point: immigration is becoming more and more difficult, and the starter visa program more and more popular. Well, expect nothing less than the exposed truth, just like the rest of our YouTube videos. We're going to do a deep dive into all the federal, provincial, rural, and regional programs and their updates and how it will affect you and why you should care. This is a live stream, so if you're wondering why it drags on so long or why I'm talking to the YouTube audience in terms of comments and questions, it's unedited, raw, no special effects. And at the end of our presentation and updates, we will be answering the questions and comments in the YouTube channel. Quick introduction, if you don't know who I am, well, I'm Reza from England, Canada, licensed immigration practitioner. And our office specializes in helping businesses, people, and families move across various borders. Why are we posting this video? Well, these are made for the purpose of sharing our hands-on immigration knowledge with our worldwide audience, including, but not exclusive to, existing clients, potential new applicants, and immigration consultants and agencies. If you're thinking about immigrating, we're here to help. Get a free email assessment for eligible applicants by filling out the form down below after this live stream is posted. And of course, if you're an active immigration practitioner, we can assist you with outsourcing your back office operations, including assessments, pre-assessments, processing, and pre- and post-landing support. We are a global mobility solution provider. Many more options than just Canada. And great news, by the way, folks, we're going to be in Vietnam, Hong Kong, China, Los Angeles, San Francisco, participating in key events from March 2024 till May 2024. So reach out to us if you're a potential B2B partner or applicant investor in any of these regions. And of course, we've got some, the most recent successful case we had was for a spousal open work permit from overseas being approved. The main applicant had their PGW approved in 2 months. This was an unusual case as the spousal open work permit was being done from overseas and took, and usually doesn't take longer than the postgraduate work permit application. However, the main applicant was in Canada, the spouse in Nigeria. She had a previous spousal open work permit refusal from overseas based on financial funds, while the main applicant had a study permit, valid study permit inside Canada when they applied for her overseas. We improved the conditions of the financial funds for the application, although no minimum funds are specified in the spousal open work permit application. The main applicant was already working and held an additional job offer. Besides submitting several web forms and contacting the local office due to extended processing times, the main applicant also contacted the MP's office that got in touch with the IRCC about their case. So it was a successful case. We're happy about that. And of course, that's just the most recent case we had that was kind of unusual, but took much longer, but got approved, even though there was refusal originally when the applicant and their spouse. On that thumbnail, tuned into our live stream to get what's happening with IRCC, provincial program, Service Canada, and the likes in Canada. Well, Alberta makes major changes to its provincial nominee program called the AAIP, Alberta Advantage Immigration Program. Well, I don't know if it's an advantage now. Maybe they should just drop one of the A's and just call it AIP. Yeah, that would make more sense. Alberta was one of the best and easiest provinces on the west coast of Canada for nominations, offers of employment for potential applicants looking for Canadian permanent residency. It was so easy, and the eligibility was so relaxed, even for ICT work permit holders. However, Alberta realized that was just too easy and created a brand new website on March 19th, 2024, where it explained about its new employer eligibility criteria. They made a huge list of eligibility criteria for any employer in the province that is issuing an offer of employment, no matter what program it is, if it's employer driven. Here's a high level overview of the major changes, which you can read on the website, which we posted on our website with this video after this live stream. So businesses should be operational for at least 2 years continuously in Alberta before being able to nominate. Minimum revenues of the province for the last of that business for the last fiscal year should be 400,000 Canadian dollars. However, there's an exception to this. We'll go through it. Minimum 3-time full-time employees in Alberta for the employer who's nominating the foreign worker. But there's no mention whether these 3 full-time employees should be Canadian or not. Could they be international students? Seems so. Restricted nomination ratios. In case the employer does not have minimum revenues of 400,000, but has a 2 or 3 more years of operational history, the AIP can cap employers on how many nominations they can issue or sponsor foreign workers. So whether if they're doing 400,000 or less, and they have been in operation for 2 years, 3 years, or 4 years, the number of people they can nominate for the business will be different. Individuals listed as directors or shareholders of the company cannot be nominated. No home-based addresses or businesses allowed to nominate foreign workers for PR. And then the AIP's Alberta Opportunity Stream is still on pause, which was a very popular program with very low requirements. And the nomination timelines is now around 6 months. Previously, it was 45, 60 days, especially with the Alberta Opportunity Stream. But now you're looking at 6 months nomination processing time for anyone looking at AAIP, which is the Alberta Advantage Immigration Program. But I think we should just call it the Alberta Immigration Program. Major changes and updates to the low wage and high wage stream of the LMIA program announced by Service Canada as of March 19th. This was last week. So I don't know the exact date, but just last week this was announced. As per the Service Canada's announcement, effective May 1st, all these changes are happening in the next, let's say, 33 days, 34 days, depending on when you're watching this live stream, which is being posted. So May 1st, 2024, these are the new changes. So any new LMIs will be affected by these new changes. LMIs will not be valid for 12 months anymore. They're going to be valid for 6 months. This is bad news for those people who are selling job offers in the market. You know who you are. All employers identified in the 2022, such as hospitality, food and wood manufacturing, will have a reduction of their low wage cap from 30 to 20%, just like everyone else, except for construction and healthcare sectors, which will continue to enjoy the 30% low wage cap instead of 20. And if you don't know what that is, don't worry, your employer has to worry about that, because if you're in the provincial low wage range, the employer is limited on how many low wage LMIs and vacancies they can apply for. Employers will need to include in their recruitment efforts and report asylum seekers with valid work authorizations who are already inside Canada. So before, they were only concerned for LMIs on Canadian permanent residents and citizens who applied for those job postings that employers had posted on the minimum 3 platforms or more. But now they will include, you have to include asylum seekers with valid work permits in Canada who are also applying. So they have the same level as Canadians. So they're making LMIs more difficult, right? Employers will also need to update and revise prevailing wages of existing foreign workers who are already working for them with closed work permits, which were issued under the LMIA program on an annual basis. So this means you've done an LMI 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago. The foreign worker is still working for you under those conditions. Every year, the employer has to adjust the wage that they're paying that foreign worker with the new prevailing wage published by the Service Canada Wage Bank, which we're also including in the article after posting this video, which means minimum, the median wage for that not code in that position has to be updated. So if you were paying a certain wage before, it's got to be updated every year. And during the Service Canada audits, they're going to check that. This will make LMIs less attractive for business owners in Canada, employers in Canada. No more long validity LMIAs, especially the no-name ones. Tighter restrictions on low-wage LMIs with a low-wage cap. General recruitment efforts for both high-wage and low-wage and PR-suitable LMIs, which should include asylum seekers now with work authorization inside Canada. So we're going to pre-COVID conditions and maybe even more difficult, more tight. Remember, we're always posting about key details for new programs, immigration programs for professionals, entrepreneurs, and investors. And if that's what you're interested in, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel for more deep dive videos or even live streams. Saskatchewan's famous entrepreneur program has changed completely with major new updates in 2024. So I'll ask this from you, okay, anyone who's watching right now. Why was Saskatchewan Entrepreneur Program the most famous and popular, sought-after program in all of the Far East markets? If you don't know, I'll provide you some insight. This is like a pop quiz, folks. It was the only entrepreneur business program in all of Canada that did not require any proof of language ability as an eligibility criteria to be admitted to the program and to be nominated for permanent residency after running the business in the province of Saskatchewan. 98% of all applicants under this program and expressions of interest were from China, Hong Kong, Vietnam, and similar countries due to the language exemption that the province allowed for their applicants. However, as of March 14th, 2024, so literally 14 days ago, the Saskatchewan program overhauled the entire system and now has upfront language requirements of CLB 5 in English or French. It was a shock for the entire industry and Far Eastern clients for sure who had existing expressions of profiles in the SNP, which is the Saskatchewan Immigration Nominee Program. It seems like the SNP was fed up and decided to stop this flow of business entrepreneurs with little or no English or French ability. And many people were taking advantage of the fact that it was only for 6 months that they needed to run the business, then be nominated, and then perhaps they may have left the province after they received their PR. So the province figured this out, got fed up, and here are the major changes to the Saskatchewan provincial nominee entrepreneur stream, which was one of the most popular and sought after programs. Mandatory exploratory trip. So you can't submit an expression of interest without physically visiting the province. Mandatory proof of language requirements, CLB 5, up front. So if you don't have the language requirement up front, forget it. No eligibility to even submit an expression of interest. Minimum 12 months duration as per the business performance agreement your applicant signs with the province to operate the business inside the province. Minimum, it was minimum 6 months, now it's minimum 12. So pop quiz, which province has still the minimum 6 months requirement? There's only one province left, and that's Manitoba. More restrictions on eligible businesses that are allowed to be invested in, and succession planning, meaning 5 years operational business of previous owners before you could buy it as an applicant under the entrepreneur program. Geographic distance of maximum 50 kilometers from where your business is set up for you and family to operate in. It seems like people were running businesses in rural regions to be eligible for lower investment, but living in Regina. In-person interviews are 100% mandatory for all applicants who have been invited after the expression of interest and are submitting documents and their net worth audit. So all those easy eligibility criteria are out the window for Saskatchewan's entrepreneur program. Based on the above changes for the Saskatchewan entrepreneur program, we expect the number of applicants to drop by like 10,000%. for this program. I doubt Saskatchewan will have more than 2-3 applicants per year under this program with the new changes, because there's really no advantage. The minimum net worth, investment, language, Ontario, BC, I mean, I know Ontario's program is closed now, but BC has better conditions than that. Nova Scotia is way better. Prince Edward Island is better. Manitoba is better. Literally, Saskatchewan is now at the bottom of the pile in terms of the worst entrepreneur program out there. Most of the new entrepreneur applicants will shift to Prince Edward Island. Nova Scotia, especially now with their new rural, lower investment. Alberta's rural entrepreneur program. And finally, the Ontario and BC programs, because these two latter provinces do not require upfront proof of language for your eligibility. They do need it after 18-20 months when you are getting nominated for PR. Gives your applicants at least 18 to 20 months to improve their English inside the country before being nominated, which is good. We're still waiting for the Ontario provincial nominee program to relaunch its entrepreneur stream, as they're now temporarily closed. And the government and officials are wondering across Canada, why startup visa is so popular? Why is everyone applying under startup visa? Well, I think they made it popular by not offering enough viable and attractive options to potential investors and overseas entrepreneurs. It's a matter of which program is less worse, which one is less painful. And that's why the federal startup visa program is the most popular program out there. Let's look at Nova Scotia's new healthcare provincial healthcare professional immigration pilot. So family physicians with overseas experience and valid express entry profiles may receive or have received invitations from Nova Scotia for the practice ready assessment program for family physicians, this allows them to be invited and work in underserviced areas of the province. Applicants will need to meet the criteria for licensing eligibility for the province and practice ready assessment criteria, which may also include an interview. Based on a successful application, they may be invited to sit on the exam for final licensing. This program is not an express entry stream, although the invitations go there, but rather it's processed through the PNP in Nova Scotia. Let's look at the Ontario Provincial Nominee General Occupation Specific Drugs. You will not have a chance to be invited to an OMP if you have below 72 points and are not in a low skilled in demand occupation. For international students, foreign workers, whether in IT, healthcare, skilled trades, or general occupations, 72 points is the magic number. Keep in mind, no invitations for bakers or cooks were completed or included in the skills trade draw that was just done in the past few weeks. Interestingly enough, the ONP also reported its last year's 2023 results for the Ontario Provincial Nominee Program, and only 3 applicants were nominated for PR under the entrepreneur program of the province, which indicates how unsuccessful or unappealing the program has been in the past years while it's been paused, and we are anticipating a relaunch in 2024. Yet to be seen what the new conditions will be. Worse or better? Saskatchewan published was number 1 India, number 2 China, number 3 Nigeria, number 4 Iran, 5 Pakistan, 6 Philippines, 7 Bangladesh, number 8 Brazil, number 9 South Korea, number 10, drum roll, Portugal, the only European country in the top 10 ONP source of countries for applicants, whether it was PhD streams or entrepreneur in examples. Immigration Acts, creative immigration solutions, or maybe just comment tutorials and key analysis on the exposed truth about immigration policies and updates, and you can click on the subscribe button for our YouTube channel. And yes, folks, we will be going to your questions and comments in our YouTube. And I see VS is very active today. So we'll get to that in a second. Just a little bit of a recap. If you're thinking about immigrating, whether permanently or temporarily, you're at the right place. We just don't offer immigration. We offer solutions. I can guarantee only one point. You'll know what to expect, the entire process laid out for you, and all the risks identified, including costs. Our legal agreements are based on payment milestones, which are linked to your application progression. We don't take 100% advance payment for your business immigration applications. You're in full control of which program you choose for immigration. We give you all the options based on your eligibility, and then you decide which program you want to apply. Does your local immigration agency offer you that? We have a $1 million liability insurance which protects us and you from fraud or mistakes, as well as dedicated client trust accounts with the Canadian banks. Our team speaks over 9 languages, and we help applicants from 50 different countries during their immigration process. So that means our team is well versed and experienced with all sorts of documentation from different countries. Click the link below this video after it's posted and get a free email assessment for eligible applicants only. If you're ready to apply on a one-on-one session with me or one of my licensed team members at Ingwe, you can book a session, again, using the consultation link included in the description of this video or live stream after it's been posted. And if you want to take our knowledge for a test drive before you book the one-on-one consultation with me or my team, then you can tune in to our YouTube channel every week for a regular live stream where we answer all of your immigration questions for free on the spot. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to be notified the day and time of the week when we go live. And yes, we're live. We're going to your questions and comments now. So thanks for your patience so far, folks. So I'm going to read all the questions and comments in our YouTube channel, the comment box, the chat box. And if you're watching this later on, you're like, who's he talking to? Well, it's all those comments and questions that are live because it's a live stream. VS says Canada has a homeless crisis right now. There's not enough room for people to immigrate here. 80 homeless people died last year of homelessness that was not related to drugs. If you go homeless in Canada, you freeze. But if you go homeless where you're from, you just have to have a garden and a tent. Well, it depends, VS, if you're coming from a warm country. If you're coming from like Ukraine, well, it's a war zone. If you're coming from Iceland, you can't live with a garden and tent. So it really depends. Homeless issues are all over the world. US, Europe, Africa, Far East, Southeast Asia. So there is no issues. The difference is Canadian government will give minimum income and security benefits to Canadians. So just FYI. Okiemula Akpovoka. Hi. Hello, Okiemute. Shwet Mills. For filing PR under the federal school worker on the basis of arranged employment, what do we mention the duration of work on employer portal? Since the employer is providing the job offer for an indefinite period. So it's permanent full-time. So you can say whatever. I mean, the employer portal, there is no employer portal, Shwet, okay? Because this is not LMI-exempt. You should have you should already have an LMIA. And if you're doing it under an LMI-exempt, then it's just a job offer contract. You don't need a new LMI-exempt code right now just to fill it out. What should be the start date of the employment, the job offer that is being issued for the purpose of arranged employment? It should be the start date is after you receive your permanent residency. It could be during the work permit, afterwards. Basically, it states when you're permanent resident, you will start. If it's with a work permit option, so it depends on the conditions of the offer of employment. Is a PR supported LMIA without a work permit? Or is it a PR supported LMIA with a work permit? Or is it a regular LMIA? Or is it an LMI exempt job offer that would be eligible for express entry? So based on that, you have to adjust whether the job offer is after you become a permanent resident or during. So the date is less prevalent at this point. But the key is it's an indefinite permanent job offer because you're using that in the express entry system. Why are you not being homes for homeless come with you? Yeah, VS. I mean, you have a lot of comments about homelessness and shelters, but that's fine. But we're talking about immigration here, so it seems like you're pretty ticked off about the homeless problem. And yeah, I mean, people can go home, VS. So it's not like they're stuck in Canada, right? They can actually go back if they're from a country which is nice and tropical, and you say that everywhere is perfect. nobody has problems anywhere else, then yeah, they can go back. It's not like Canada's a jail. People can come and decide this is not the right place for me. So I don't think that's the right place to be commenting about this. That's more of like a bulletin board or community posting chat. We're here to just answer questions on immigration and help folks out. So if you don't want to immigrate, you don't tune into this channel, VS, right? So you can stay back wherever is tropical. Maybe there's some kind of heavenly utopia somewhere with no homelessness, no crime, no corruption. So we're talking about immigration here. We're not talking about politics and problems. See, every country has problems. Okay, our office helps people immigrate to Portugal, Greece, Spain, UK, Malta, Dubai, Panama, New Zealand, right? US, Canada, just to name a few, even Austria, right? And Caribbean islands for fast track citizenship. So, anyways, I'm just going to skip and go to the immigration related questions. Vimuliza Tina, please tell us about Canadian visitor visas. Well, Vimuliza Tina, unfortunately, it's just a tourist visa. Like any other country, you have to provide proof of your ties to your home country, income, employment, assets, immediate family, and travel history in other countries such as Europe, US, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and UK. And that will define and the reasons why you're coming to Canada. Do you have immediate family here? What is the purpose? Those are the reasons that they will approve or refuse your visitor visa. Okay, we got some more questions here. Immigration related, please, folks. Okiemute says, please, I need advice if I should go for Nova Scotia International graduate program in a private college or going for a 1-year program in PI at a public college. Remember, Okiemetu, the programs can always change with the PMPs. Prince Edward Island is very good. Nova Scotia is very good. So in general, I would say if you want to be in a safe route, I would say go to a public college, either in Nova Scotia or Prince Edward Island. I would not, my preference would be not to go private college, even though there's a program for that. I would say stick to public wherever you go. Both provinces are great. Niranjan Fernando, how does these recent changes impact C10, C11 work permits? It doesn't, Niranjan. Generally, C10, C11s, ICTs, the refusal rates are going up because the application qualities, the expectations are higher. But there are no significant policy or program changes for C10, 11, intra-company transfer, or other bilateral agreements, which are LMIA-exempt for investors, professionals, and entrepreneurs and self-employed people. Okay? Zubair Khan, hi Reza. Hello, Zubair. Nalin Tushara, hi Reza. How are you doing? I just want to know whether the same person can have 2 applications for separate provinces because my application for New Brunswick is pending. Yes, technically you can, but after you receive nomination, you can only have 1 PR application going to the federal government. If there's 2, they'll withdraw 1 automatically. So in theory, you can, but keep in mind that you have to reside in those provinces. That's one of the intentions. So just be careful with that, but technically, theoretically, you could. Mohammed Omar Khan, we received our PR. Is there a certain duration one can be out of country? My daughter plans to go out of country for 6 to 7 months as we might get her married. Are there any red flags? Mohammed, congratulations on the PR. You will need to just spend 2 out of 5 years to be eligible to renew your residency. So the residency requirements for permanent residents are 2 out of 5 years non-continuous. Citizenship has a different requirement. So you can be out for 6-7 months and come back. Keep in mind that provincial healthcare coverage does restrict you of how long you should be outside the country or not, but CBSA has no clue about that when you're re-entering country. Mohammed Omar Khan, also if she gets married outside Canada, now that she has a PR, can she apply for spouse outside Canada, or she just has to get back to Canada to apply? She can, apply to sponsor her spouse, Mohammed. She can do that from inside Canada or outside Canada. When you apply from outside Canada, she just has to show the intention that she plans to be living in Canada. So as long as she's just temporarily out, she could say, well, we plan to reside in Canada, and I'm, because I have my place of work or my home or whatever there. And she can also apply from inside Canada and wait for her spouse to be processed, and then the spouse would arrive with a PR. So both options are 100% available. The application would just have to state where the sponsor is at that time. Chouette Mills. So while applying for PR on the basis of arranged employment, the employer doesn't need to register the job offer on the employer portal, right? Well, it depends if it's an LMIA-exempt or non-LMIA or with an LMIA Chouette. When you have an LMIA, you already have the number, the LMIA number. So it depends on what type of offer of employment it is. Mohammed Omar Khan. Another question. The IRCC portal says that your PR days are counted towards PR renewal days if you're working outside Canada, providing you have full-time job offer in Canada. Yes, but there's a lot of exceptions. I don't even go there. Don't even go there. You'll be stuck. You won't be able to renew if you don't meet 2 years residency requirements. Does working for your own company no, it doesn't. Don't even try it, Mohammed. Yeah, don't even try it. Okay, trust me, I've had a lot of people try that route. It doesn't go anywhere. Okay, Metu, is Nova Scotia International graduate in demand program good for me because I'm 40 years old? Yeah, perfectly fine. Mohammed Umar, does this count towards citizenship days? If you're traveling with no, I mean, your work permit time, visitor visa, or study permit time inside Canada counts as credit, half a day for every day, up to a max of 1 year credit towards your citizenship. But not spending time outside of Canada, that doesn't count towards citizenship. Alan Wong, hi Reza, appreciate for your time and effort on sharing the facts and professional opinion. RPR request stuck in Whitehorse since 2023, January of PAL. IRCC received it in 2021, February. Any experience with WH? Well, so you mean you applied, Alan, on the Yukon or the territory, the Northern Territory provincial programs, or you mean the startup visa program and it's being processed in Yukon because in Whitehorse, because that's also normal. So are you doing a PNP there? Are you doing a startup visa? Are you doing a what program are you applying? Mohammed Afak Wadiwala. Hi Reza, what are current timelines for SUV from pre-arrival to COPR? 18 to 24 months, average. We've seen 15 months, we've seen 24, but we're telling all of our clients it's 18 to 24. Muataz Ahmad, what are the best options for study programs to get PR like BC postgraduate program? Muataz, I would say the postgraduate program in BC is good. I would say the Newfoundland postgraduate program is good. And on Ontario's master's and PhD graduate streams are pretty good as well, because although it's a points-based system, BC doesn't have a points-based system, but it's STEM-based. But if you're doing a regular MBA or something that's not STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, these sort of occupations, is quite good. Newfoundland has their own little graduate restrictions, which is not bad, but BC's probably STEM education, and if not, like a MBA or anything else, even arts, I would say Ontario, but be careful of the points-based system. Reverse engineer before you start the program so you can declare your income higher even while you're a student, because that will give you some bonus points later on. Don't tell them I told you that. Ashish Jasal, hi Reza, we got our pre-arrival letter on the SUV. Congrats. How much time do you think will take for the PR? It could take 2 to 6 months. It's right now there's no specific time. Okay, but I've seen clients who within a couple of months they got the COPR details or passport request, and some that took 6 months. But last year was slower. I expect faster processing this year. Mohammed Amar Khan, I got mine after 2 months, which, yeah, which makes sense. But again, it's very, very different across the board. There's no consistency. Okiemetu Akpovoka. Thank you for a response, Rosa. Please, can I change my program to a different school as part of it, as a part-time student in the winter term? So you do need to study 2 full-time semesters per year, Okiemetu, because you'll lose your international student status, and it may affect your postgraduate work permit eligibility. But if you've done 2 full-time semesters and you're doing a 3rd semester, that can be part-time. Okay, but be careful with that. Safa Salaharaz Ramadan Mubarak. Thank you, Safa. Ramadan Kareem. Hope everything is good and you're busy with your startup. Shred Mills, can you tell what to keep in mind while applying for PR on the basis of range employer? I received an LMIA-exempt work permit. I received an ITA recently. Okay, Shred. So basically, you should have worked for the employer for 1 year, right? The LMIA-exempt, for which your work permit, the employer's name was on it. You have at least 1,560 hours of accumulated work for that employer that is now issuing you a job offer. So you could own that business, or it could be something else, right? With the offer of employment, I'm just thinking in for the express entry. If you don't have an LMIA and it's asking you for an LMIA-exempt code, then yes, the employer would need to issue that offer of employment and pay the $230. But if it doesn't ask you for a code, then there's no requirement of the employer folder. Let me double check this live with our team just to make sure we are giving you the right answer for arranged employment in. Thanks, folks. Thanks, exempt streams. Thanks, folks. Yeah, sometimes I may not have the answer, but I'll get it for you. So, Shweta, I'll let you know. Daval Sharma, hi Reza. I'm working in Alberta for an employer in Alberta. Now I have an experience of 1 year and I want to apply for PR. I'm working as a mobile application developer. What are my options? So you may look at if you're eligible for Express Entry Deval, you could look at the Alberta Express Entry Skilled Worker Stream, maybe tech talent. Alberta Opportunity Stream would have been an option. It's paused now, but wait for it to reopen in the next few months. That could be one if you're not eligible for Express Entry. Those would be the ones that I would suggest. But again, it depends on your eligibility for Express Entry or not, because that dictates which program you can apply for. But Alberta Opportunity Stream doesn't require Express Entry, but it's paused right now. The Express Entry Skilled Worker Stream does is open, and you could potentially go there if your occupation is in the tech talent. Muataz Ahmed, is BC postgraduate program will be closed next January. I received admission from one of these programs. I will finish studying in 2024. Is it possible to get a BC PNP after graduation? Muataz, we don't know that. BC PNP doesn't know that. It's tough to say. It could change. It could not exist, but to be honest with you, no, there's no clear answer to that question. We'll start a visa change in a year or two. Will it close? Will any of the programs close or change? Oh, there's a risk at all times for that, but it's a good program. Whether it'll close next January, I don't think so. But if it'll change till 2025 later on, 2026, yes, it could change. Safa Salah, always have a plan B, by the way. Safa Salah, we're still paying corporate tax returns and annual tax for our company and searching for trademarks. Are these activities helping our PR under? Yeah. If you have revenues and expenses through your Canadian corporation for startup, it's a bonus point. It's not that is the only thing they're looking at. It's just a component that adds to the whole package for you. Shwed Mills, is it an LMI-exempt work permit? Do we need to register the job offer on the employer portal before applying for? I've received an ITA. Yeah, I'm getting you. Yes, there's the most analyzing requirement from the employer portal. Yeah, so I got caught even for points. Yeah, so I got a confirmation from our office, Shred, that yes, because it's LMI exempt and they need to issue the job offer for express entry, they go through the employer compliance. And if the duration, you can't pick permanent in the portal, just put, whatever long duration. It should not be less than 1 or 2 years. But technically in the job offer that you're including in the express entry documents later with your ITA, it should say permanent, indefinite, full time, right? But yeah, they will need to pay $230 to get the LMI exempt code, which starts with A, from the employer portal, which is the same day. You just need to pay the $230. Dawal Sharma, hi Reza, I'm working out of Alberta. Yeah, we did that just now. Montez, we did that. Safa, we did that. Shwed, we did. Shana Rafi, hey Reza, nice to see you again. Is it possible to change the Iranian open work permit to closed work permit and get to 200 points? Yeah, any work permit is possible. As long as you have valid status inside the country and you can change condition, you can change to a study permit, a closed work permit, another open work permit if you're eligible for it. So it's not specific to Iranian open work permits. It's for anyone with any condition that meets the eligibility of the new condition can do a change of condition, right? So from open to closed, closed to open, all that's possible. A case in point is the vulnerable workers open work permit. So somebody's on a closed work permit and then they apply for an open because there's issues with their employers. And if you're in an open work permit and you're getting an offer of employment and you're going into a closed work permit because you want to work for an employer and they want you on a closed work permit, of course it's possible. You could even do a PR supported LMI without a work permit to claim those 200 points. Just food for thought, Shana. Nashwan Ali, do all permanent residency applicants, whether in Canada or outside, receive a pre-arrival letter before approval? Additionally, is it always the case that an applicant should receive a pre-arrival? Nashwan, most cases we've seen a pre-arrival, most cases. But there's some cases where I haven't seen a pre-arrival and the PR was processed. So 90%, 9 out of 10, yes, but there are some cases where the PR just came out and the pre-arrival wasn't received yet. Alan Wong, we are under SUV. PR request received by IRCC in 2021 February. Pre-arrival letter received in June 2023. Still no update from Whitehorse. Do you have any ideas on processing time since over 37 months? So Alan, yes, you're stuck in the old backlog and there's no exact time where anyone can tell you, oh, in the next month, but you're definitely at that end of that period. So 6 to 8 months is the 8 months is the maximum I've seen from pre-arrival to an actual, request for passport or COPR details. So you're almost there. Like till June, literally, you're gonna have a PR, okay? Because you already have the pre-arrival. So congratulations. Whether it's Whitehorse or wherever, it all goes through. So it's just a matter of a few months here and there, Alan. So don't worry. Shwed Mills, thanks so much, Reza. That helps. Safa Saleh, any suggestions or advice about other activities to get points under SUV while waiting PR and give advantage to our case? Safa, it's pretty basic. If you find customers, you have revenues, you have partners, you have pilot projects, you have a place of business in Canada. If you hire Canadians, those are the brownie points you need. Nalin Tushara, hi Reza. I filed my expression of interest for New Brunswick in December last year, but still waiting for the outcome. Why is it late? The provinces are really behind. And as I said, Manitoba's processing time for nomination is slow. Alberta is now 6 months. It used to be a month and a half. New Brunswick is also experiencing huge backlog. So I can't give you more details than that, Nalin. Sorry. Hardeep Kaur. Hi, Reza. Our PR tracker is updated yesterday with background completed, but file is still in progress. So how much time will it take for PR? Hardeep, sorry, I don't remember your case. So you'd have to refresh my mind. If it's start a visa, again, it all depends on the officer. I don't know what case you're looking at because it depends on when the officer is satisfied And then when they're sending it over for PR, did you get a pre-arrival service? I don't know what program or what service, what criteria you're using right now. Unpredictable. Hi, Reza. Good morning. Have any idea current biometrics timeline? I have submitted PR application January 18, 2024. Not sure what program biometrics timeline. There is no real biometrics timeline. If you've submitted biometrics and you're under PR application, whatever program it is, you just have to go through the processing times. So I don't know exactly. Muataz Ahmed. In BC News, it was told that BC will end international graduate and international postgraduate in January, and they will replace it with another 3 programs. If that's the case, Muataz, you can hold off potentially, because what could happen is that they're limiting, or they're going to restrict. So the program will not be as easy or friendly. That's based on what you're telling me right now. So just be careful if you go into that program based on the postgraduate international stream to PR. There is risk, right? But if you're doing a postgraduate, obviously if they're replacing those programs will allow people with postgraduate graduation to apply. But you don't know, will it be a points-based system? Will there be other criteria? So nobody knows. Vimuliza Tina. Hi, Reza. Please, can you tell me shortly about Canadian visiting visa? I did my biometrics, Janet, but until now, no reply. Vimuliza, depending on where you're from, it can take anywhere from 4 to 10 months to get a visa processing. Depending, are you in the Caribbean? Are you in Africa? Are you in somewhere Southeast Asia? It can take a very long time. Unpredictable. Also, how much impact will be PR if any misrepresentation by the past for other countries? It can be refused. Unpredictable. So that's the name of the person asking this, by the way. Hardeep, we applied for non-express entry on 25th November. Still haven't received a pre-arrival letter, so there can be any problem. Everything completed in PR tracker. Provincial nominee program. Yeah, 15 to 18 months. So let's say 2023. Yeah, second half of this year, you'll have your PR, Hardeep. Maybe sooner. Vimuliza Tina from Rwanda. Vimuliza, I would say it can take anywhere from 4 to 8 to 10 months. It's very random in Africa. Unfortunately, people waiting sometimes for 10 months, sometimes at 4.5, 5 months. So it's not fast for tourist visas there. Okiemetu Akpovoka. I intend moving to new school to start afresh as a full-time student. Any implications? Okay, if you're on a study permit and you're studying at a specific program, you're going to another school, you have to go to the IRCC portal and inform them of the DLI change, designated learning institution change. That's A. 2, keep in mind the study permit is valid based on your old program. If the new program takes longer than the study permit, you should be applying for a study permit renewal quickly before the expiry of the existing study permit. If your program in the new school will take longer, keep in mind that your study permit has specific conditions on the level of lower. Those conditions could have been a violation. So make sure it's the same level of education. Okiemetu, I intend to move to new school. Unpredictable, which is the person who's asking this. Thank you so much for a valuable time, clarifying questions. All very best, sir. Thank you, folks. Great seeing everyone today. We'll be back here next Thursday. What time? Well, you got to subscribe to a YouTube channel to find out when we go live to answer all of your questions, whether it's startup visa, new program changes, LMIAs, PNP, spousal, express entry, job offers, and whatnot. Thanks for joining us. And remember, do your homework, do some research, and plan, reverse engineer everything. And like we've seen, immigration policies are changing and programs are changing while you're here, while you're outside, while your application is under process. Take care. See you next week. Thanks for joining us, folks. Have a good one.